So chaps, what are we going to do next? I want inspiration. I want something that's going to be a game changer. Something that's going to shake up the market. What do you think? How about making a Bumblebee? Kind of changing the name a bit so it's not Bumblebee, we don't want to get copyrighted. Maybe like a wasp, or that's been done. Hornet. Hornet's like a big wasp. And then let's just go big. You know, the Westerners, they absolutely love big figures. Oversize, I go with that. Bigger is better than Optimus Prime. That's what the wife says. Hello everybody and welcome to another knockoff review. In today's video we're going larger, go big or go home. We're taking a look at the Model Wizard Hornet Warrior, aka the oversized version of the MPM Bumblebee. Yes, you can just imagine the old board meeting for Model Wizard. What do we think the public need? Oh, I know, let's go bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Are you sure? Yeah, sure, why not? And on the back of the box we have Bumblebee in his bot mode and his vehicle mode. There's a very brief deformation era bio, and we have a picture of Prime there saying Machine Hero. That is of course the M01 from Wei Jiang. Out of his plastic prison he comes sporting a rather nice instruction manual, and in all intents and purposes he's a really fantastic colour scheme. He's been painted remarkably well, very much like the legendary Toys repaint. It's not until you bring in some other figures that you realise just how big this thing is. Here he is with the oversized Bumblebee from Blue Circus. Initially I thought he was about the same size, but no, he's slightly bigger. Then we can bring in the MPM Bumblebee. It's actually the legendary Toys repaint, but it's the same mould, so you can see they've upscaled and upscaled again. And then when we bring in the likes of the Bumblebee movie Bumblebee, and then we got the Studio Series Bumblebee at the front there as well. This is a very large, remarkably well made bot. And for you MP collectors, here he is alongside the TE01 Optimus Prime, and of course the unique Toys version of Age of Extinction Prime. Why give us a Bumblebee that's this big? Now I know the company that gave us the MPM03 repaints, the kind of slightly simplified versions of the Wei Jiang MPP10. They've done a Bumblebee as well, which I believe is a step down from this. I think he's about 22 centimeters, I think, so he's going to be the next one down. I will try and get a hold of him as well, just so I can have a whole swarm. But what exactly does this scale with? Display wise, we have a Human Alliance figure there. We've got some Mask, and we've also got some G.I. Joe. Personally, I think Mask could work quite well. Possibly Joe's are a little bit too big. I believe I worked this Hornet out to be 115, just over 115 scale. So it's just a matter of finding something that works with that. But I mean, Mask works pretty well. I mean, you can have your very own Few figure there, can't you? Doing Thew's awesome reviews, and then climbing into his Camaro. Actually, Thew, you don't even drive, do you? I don't think. So I'll drive the Camaro and I'll come and pick you up. Now, personally, I think the best scaling figures that go with this Bumblebee are those Tai Kong Zans. I mean, it's still not perfect. I believe Bumblebee's a 15-foot figure, and Starscream was 30, I think, or 32. So it's still fairly oversized still, I think, in comparison to the Tai Kong Zans. I mean, I think probably Blue Circus is probably kind of more the scale we're after. But that being said, it doesn't look too bad on display at all. Tai Kong Zan Starscream is a nightmare to get a hold of these days. He's rare as rocking horse poop, so I'm glad I got him from Sir Toys when I had the chance. Now let's take a closer look at Articulation. Is pretty much as we would expect. And we've got lots of nice tight friction joints. still got those nice tight ratchet joints on those legs. Everything has a place. Sculpt looks really nice in this sort of size. We do still have the ability to bring down the battle mask, so we can bring up the outer head, bring down the battle mask for Wasp. Got a bit of a sprue mark on the underside of that battle mask there. That comes down like so, and then bring the top of the head back. Can't say I'm a fan of how that really sits in this mode. I do prefer what they did with just switching the head over with the Oversize Studio series, but there we go, that still works nonetheless. Now he comes with a hammer, which in my opinion looks a fraction too small, and at the same time he didn't have that in the 2007 movie, which is what this appearance of Bumblebee is based on. But instead I can remove the hammer. It's not held in by anything at all other than just sheer want and determination, and we can just fold the arm back inside like so, close that off, and then we can bring in his cannon by plugging that in like so, and he's got his cannon arm on there, which is my personal preference. We've got lots of nice articulation on here. We've got articulated fingers. We do have the waist rotation there. As previously mentioned, we do have nice ratchets on those thighs, both inwards and outwards. We have movement on the thigh pieces, so we can move those accordingly as we move the thighs. We do have a nice ratchet on those knees, have thigh rotation, and then we have some up and down on the feet, as well as some pivot, and we've got lovely rubber tires as well. It's a really good look for Bumblebee. One of his best looks in my opinion. There was that, and there was the Stealth, I think it was the kind of black 66 Chevy, which I really liked as well. But yep, loving this figure so far. Right now, let's get Bumblebee transformed up. You want to unplug this tab. If you've put the cannon on, it just tabs in at the base, but it is incredibly tight, like so. As you can see here, I've already folded the hands away inside these arms. Just open this up, make sure the fingers are fully compressed, press down, and then compress the thumb as well. Rotate that around, and that's going to slide in there nicely. Pull the arms all the way up, and once you untab these lovely painted up sections here on the side, just move those like this, and you want to bring this whole panel up and extend that out fully. Flipping Bumblebee over, we're going to start working on these legs. We're going to pull up these thigh pieces from the back, lift them from the side panel here. These are going to come all the way down, and they're going to form the rear of the car. Come to these feet, got these retaining tabs here. Those are going to move down. That allows us to bring the wheels outwards, and as we bring this wheel around, there's this tab here. This is going to fold backwards like so, so it moves out of the way, making sure that this section here is lifted all the way back. This piece here can just collapse onto the toes, making sure that this panel here flips backwards on the inside. This can then collapse, and this just sits just on the inside of this leg, and this piece here just comes down and closes off around the outside of the thigh. And with both legs completed, we're going to have something that looks like this for now. It's all starting to come together, and before we just tab all of this section in firmly, it's just hooked over this latch here. You want to straighten up these side panels, rotate those around, and then the knee is going to compress and compress again, and this is just going to slide in to the void like so. Give that a little push, and then we just need to tab all of these in firmly, and there's those two pegs just there in the underside. Those are just going to push and tab in, and the rear of the vehicle is starting to take shape. And with these tabs all tucked away, we can now bring these small parts down on either side, just tidying up that end piece. Come around to this top piece, making sure that these are all clear. We can bring this panel up. Now with the head facing straight, you want to bring in these collar posts like so, and we can just push this panel down, and that's going to allow for the front of the vehicle to come up. And you can probably guess what we're doing here. These panels here are just going to straighten up and tidy up to form the front of the car. And with the shoulders brought down, we can then bring this side panel over, and that's going to form part of the bonnet and part of the front wheel arch. Coming back to the underside, you want to make sure that the arm is straight. This needs to be facing upwards, these need to be facing this way. Make sure this is all tucked in, and this is going to collapse down on that shoulder joint, and again collapse the forearm piece down. And now that we've collapsed this wheel tab is going to come around, and we've got to tab it in at 2 points. We've got this point here just on that wheel arch like so, and then looking at the underside here where we have that shoulder joint just here. Again, those are just going to push and tab in, securing that into position. As you can see, it's now starting to come together. This will collapse down like so. These panels are going to fold. They untab from here and they come up to the side and just retab at the top here, and they are on a compressing hinge, so that slides downwards like this. Do that for both sides, and then we've got all of this panel here at the back, which is going to unfold and unfold and unfold. A little bit of origami there, and that forms the back of the vehicle. So it's now a matter of bringing everything in. And here we have him fully transformed up into his vehicle mode. Everything tabs in nicely. Got lovely chromed out rims there with the rubber on the tread there. We do have space on the underside here to store his gun if you see fit. It just tabs in. On the underside like so, and stores away nicely, but absolutely adore how that looks, and actually in my personal opinion holds together a lot nicer than what the official version does. It's a real solid lump, and it's kind of Model Wizard or I think Model Wizard are the off branch of Wei Jiang. It's them doing their job as best as they can. Now we don't have the Chevy logo on the front, although we do say, it does say Camaro on the side there, and we do have the license plate on the back. But what a beefy, gorgeous piece of kit. And to give you a quick idea of the scale, here he is alongside Matt Tracker's vehicle from Mask. So I think it's definitely too big for Mask vehicles, so I think we'll have to rule that out. But I don't know, G.I. Joe, that's not too bad, I don't think. I mean, that's a fairly good scale. It's still not perfect. He's probably, as mentioned earlier on, he's probably a smidge too big. If he's sitting in there like that, I don't know, it's a potato. I mean, display wise, personally I think that looks absolutely awesome, and I know it doesn't hold together as nicely as I would like, but the Taikong Zan Ironhide at the back there, personally I think that scale works really well. You have all these displayed up in their vehicle modes. And again, the scaling's not exactly perfect, but it's not far off. That's the Black Mamba Oversized Studio Series Bumblebee. Much more simplified, and definitely doesn't hold together as nicely as what this Model Wizard Camaro does. MP10 is just tiny, but I think Laserbeak works pretty well. What are your thoughts? So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen, the oversized version of Bumblebee. I will leave his dimensions in the description section below, length, height, width, etc. in both bot and vehicle modes. I just don't have my tape measure to hand at the moment, so I'll add those in after editing is done, but it's a glorious piece. If you're a Bumblebee fan, then you probably already have this figure. I'm quite late to the party with him. I just really wanted a nice Chimera to display with some of my figures, or if I wanted to have the Tai Kong Zans fighting off against somebody, I thought he would be a very viable option. Exceptionally well made, very solid piece, and pretty much what we would expect from Wei Jiang and Model Wizard. It's great value for money and bang on the buck. Thanks again to TF Direct for making this review possible, and until next time, from myself and Hornet, thanks for watching. Goodbye.